make sure I separate these two things. Let's jump right into it. You know what it is. Realm of the real, only the real. What it do? Boy, M.I. Sizzle in the building. Okay. Live and in effect. Alright, what it do, what it do. Like to talk to y'all today about a few things. You know what I'm saying? It's Sunday, we chilling. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to everybody that came out last night. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Was out there roasting the hell out that nigga Truth. You know what I'm saying? Also giving people that Yoshimitsu and that lean work. We got two rank ups. Nonetheless, that ain't what we're here for today, though. We're here to talk about a particular subject. Today's subject we're going to be talking about is life outside of the bubble, right? Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, like, what is life outside the bubble? What are you talking about, Mike? Come on, what is this outside the bubble shit? Well, how do I put it? Basically, we all kind of live in various bubbles, right? You know, you might live in a situation where you feel like everything's cool, everybody thinks like you, the majority of people think like you. These things are the pressing issues of the day. I don't know where your stance might be. You might feel like life is hard. You might feel like the world is coming to an end. And I mean, you might not be wrong about certain things. But I just wanted to have this conversation. I decided. Oh, hold on, I might sneeze all up. Woo! Okay. My bad. God dang. Praline. You need to lower your perfume, Praline. Anyway, I wanted to talk about a few things. I wanted to talk about the idea of perspective. And I want to run a little series about this. So today is just going to be like a slight overview of the kinds of things I want to talk about when I have these perspective conversations. So let's just jump right into it. I'm glad to have y'all here. Hope y'all enjoy the conversation. Hope you enjoy the information that I put out here for you. Let's get into it. Well, first and foremost, you know who it is. It's your boy, the one and only M.I. Sizzle in the building, okay? Don't act like you don't know. All right, you know exactly who it is when you step out here in the building, all right? So, the first thing I want to talk to you about is your surroundings, really, right? Appreciate that, Chris. Appreciate it. Your surroundings often kind of make up who you are. And a lot of people don't really think about that too much. By the way, we will be drinking from some Atlanta hard cider. Okay, so not sponsored, but delicious nonetheless. Shout out to Secret Garden. And of course, you know, get you some of that Tech and House gear. All right, got to get the shilling on. Anyway, listen. A lot of people don't really think about their surroundings. Like, how did you come to the conclusion to think the way that you think about things, right? That's kind of what I want to talk about. A lot of times, you know, you'll find yourself on Twitter, and to give you a great example, Twitter is a hotbed for this kind of discussion, right? When you get on Twitter, you know, it's kind of really a situation where you have a whole bunch of people that think this direction about an issue, and a whole bunch of people that think far to the opposite end about that same issue, right? What has happened, and what's happening in a lot of society, is you get onto Twitter and you think like you're pretty much here in the middle. Most people are pretty much in the middle as just an average person jumping onto the Twitter sphere, right? But the thing is, Twitter is not designed for you to stay in the middle. The way Twitter is designed, you curate what it is that you like. You curate the messages that you receive. So you can kind of almost create a situation where you're almost surrounded by people who think a whole lot like you, right? Who live a life very similar to yours in certain aspects. Great example is we play the game of Tekken, right? We're in the fighting game community, as a matter of fact. Now, the thing about Tekken in the fighting game community is, in actuality, well, okay, let's just look at it from this perspective. Everyone that you know that plays Tekken almost is on Twitter, right? Almost everybody you know that's in the fighting game community of any substantial nature, or any kind of status, they're pretty much on Twitter, right? You would probably get in your head that most people that play Tekken are on Twitter, right? That the people, I saw a good post about this the other day. Actually, it was in regards to Mortal Kombat, but we're gonna look up something right here, right? And I'm gonna drop the link in the chat so you can see where all these sources are coming from, so you can follow along. That's kind of how I want to run this kind of operation here. Let me see. Here we go. Now, here is the link. Very easy Google Chrome link. You can check it out. All right. Copy that. Put it in the chat. Now, I want you to think about something. Tekken 7 is a game that sold 2.7 million copies. 2.8 by 2018, right? All right. 2.8 million copies. Now, when you think about the 2.8 million copies sold, right? As a competitor going to tournaments, you think to yourself like, oh, I see all these people play Tekken. All the people online are playing Tekken. You know, all of these people are into fighting games. People playing Street Fighter. People out here playing Virtual Fighter, playing Dragon Ball Z, playing all the fighting games, Skullgirls, all of this shit, right? To each respective community, it almost makes you feel like everybody plays Tekken all over the globe, right? But there's a reason a place like Atlanta is very special when it comes to the Tekken scene, right? Because we have like 90 to 100 plus active players of Tekken. Not to mention people who are also like tournament savvy, but just don't enter tournaments, right? We got quite a few people. But when you start to scope out and you think about this, have you ever been to a tournament that had 100,000 people playing Tekken in it? I would argue that if you added up every single individual tournament, and including online tournaments, added all of them up, it probably still wouldn't be 500,000 people. It probably wouldn't be 100,000 people. I'm talking about if you took a year of tournaments all over the world, added them all up, it probably still would not be 100,000 entrants, right? Now, here's the thing. There's 2.8 million copies, right? Let's say everybody got like a console copy and a PC copy, right? You're talking about still 1.4 million people have bought 2 copies of the game. 1.4 million people in your tournament for the whole year, your tournament base for the whole year, I mean all tournaments, probably less than 10% of the people who bought both copies of your game. Like 2 copies of your game. If it was just every person bought 2 copies. Now you know and I know everybody ain't bought 2 copies of this shit. Alright? And some people got multiple copies because we've got things like 404. You've got tournament venues that are buying a copy per system. You know, buying all that DLC per system that they're using. So when you start thinking about what's going on with your player, when you start to think about it, it's kind of like, well, how much of the tournament scene actually makes up the population of the game, right? Well, let's just be very generous and say 100,000 people made up the tournament scene for the game. That would mean only 10% of their buyer customer base makes up the game. You know, makes up the sales makes up tournaments as opposed to the sales of the game. Do you think that when you draw back, it makes it a whole lot easier for you to understand, or at least for myself, right? It makes it a whole lot easier to pull back and realize, like, okay, from a business perspective, even if I make a game that is undesirable to all of my tournament base, if it will bring in the casual players at 90%, if 90% of the casual gameplay basis will still buy the game based off of how I have it designed, and when I design this, I just get more and more people playing the game. From a business standpoint, I understand. Like, okay, I'm not going to make something that's going to completely disrupt my tournament scene, because there has to be something said about the tournament scene creating a certain allure to make more people come in and play it, right? Everybody knows that if there was no tournament scene for a game, it's very likely that it would have ever sold 2.8 million, right? Like, Tekken has a lot of name power, you know, a lot of name recognition, but I just don't think it would have that kind of name recognition. Not nowadays, where fighting games are already, you know, well, let's pull back further, right? Let's not take it to Tekken. Let's look at fighting games in general. Fighting games in general, if you have a place like Twitter, I know I have 2 accounts. One account is the Tekken House account, and the other account is my personal account. You know, you can follow me. It's Real MICATL. You know, you can definitely follow me. Check me out. What it is this. You get on Twitter and you believe, like, man, everybody's playing fighting games. Everybody plays the game I like because I'm in a game circle where all we talk about is Tekken. People are constantly putting videos up. People are constantly showing combos. People are constantly streaming. I mean, that means everybody must be playing this shit. But that's just not the case, right? It's just not the case. Even if you had every person singularly who had bought a copy of Tekken, had bought 2.8 million copies of Tekken, right? And all of them were playing at all times. Do you realize that is 2.8 million globally? Globally. Now, we're going to go to Google right quick, right? I'm going to drop another link in the chat because I want y'all to be in here with me, you know what I'm saying? I want you to be able to follow along. All right, we're going to look at the world population, okay? Just in general. Now, world population. Let me copy, paste that over here for y'all guys. All right, the world population is 7.8 billion. Okay, 8 billion. 7.8 billion. Now, I'm going to pull my phone out right quick. All right, I'm going to pull my phone out right quick because I feel like, I don't want to be misleading the people, you know what I'm saying? By the way, I didn't even send the tweet out. Let me send a tweet out. Let people know that we live, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know that's how a lot of y'all be finding out about shit. Let everybody know we live. Hit the dashboard right quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me send that little thing out. Send a little tweet out right quick. You know what I mean? We're going to get on through this thing right now. All right. So, we'll just hit the regular shit. Anyway, back to it. Now, we're going to hit a calculation right here, right? 2.1 million. That's 2. Right? I just want y'all to be able to see this. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be able to see it so you can see it on the calculator. Make sure y'all can see that, right? That's 2. I know it's a little dirty. 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay? Oh, my bad. No, that's 21 million. All right. So this is 2.1 million right here on the screen, right? You can see that. We're going to divide that. Now, is that right? Yeah, that's right. 2.1, right? Make sure I'm doing that right. Let me make sure I'm doing that right. Oh, damn, my sister trying to get me to go on this damn call. Let me get back to my damn thing. All right, 2.1 million. We're going to divide that by 7. We said 7.8? 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? You see how long that number is? That's a long ass number, right? It's a long ass number. Hold on, let me get y'all up out the sun. There we go. It's a long ass number, right? 7.8 billion. We about to hit the equal. Yo, what does that number say? Right? What that number say? Oh, can y'all see that? Can you see that? There we go. There we go. Can you see that right there? 0.00002692308% of people play Tekken. You know what I'm saying? Do you realize in Atlanta there are 6 million people in Metro Atlanta? That means if you had every person that ever played the game, who ever bought the game, all in Atlanta, that still will only be like 20% of the Atlanta population. Hold on, 30%, 25%? Let me see, 6 divided by 2, 3, so like 30% of the Atlanta population, Metro Atlanta population. You're spreading that out amongst the world. That ain't a lot of people play Tekken, bro. That is not a lot of people playing Tekken. But something like Twitter will have you, if you were to just get on Twitter and follow your feed, you would see a whole bunch of Tekken stuff because you follow all the Tekken players. But how many people you really follow? You might follow 100 Tekken players. You might follow 1,000 Tekken players. If you're following 1,000 Tekken players and they're all feeding you information about Tekken, Tekken seems to be everywhere. But in actuality, a place like Twitter harbors these situations to make you lose warp. It warps your reality, right? It gets you into a bubble, right? This show is to get you outside of your bubble, not just in Tekken, because it don't really matter in Tekken. Tekken's a recreational thing, right? But let's talk about more realistic, more problematic things that actually have consequence, right? Let's talk about the idea of politics, right? Now, when you think about politics, you know, if you've been on Twitter, you know, much like any social media site, really, You've got your far left people, you got your far right folks, okay? Even though I did that wrong on the camera, it's right, all right? Anyway, you know, it's the idea is this, like, I would actually disagree with that, Panther, but I will tell you why in a second. You have normal, everyday, average Joe, right? Shout out to Average Video Game Joe, but that ain't who we talking about. But your average Joe goes onto a Twitter. He's not having sway one way or the other. He's just going on there. He's found out about it. Here's this place you can go in there and you can talk about stuff with different people, right? Maybe he's interested in conversation. Maybe, you know, the pandemic got him, you know, locked up in the crib, don't have a lot of people around. He's in isolation, so he wants a little human interactivity via the virtual realm, right? What's going on? Now, one of the problems you end up having is Billy Bob Joe goes into Twitter sphere. He has all the things he's been brought up on, right? And he's like, okay, well, I'm pretty down the middle. I'm kind of, you know, moderate. I don't really believe too much this way. I don't believe too much that way. I think just enough in moderation is good. Now, you would think that you could come in and kind of just stay in that area. But what you don't realize is you're going to follow somebody. You're going to get into a conversation, right? You're going to find out what you want to talk about. Let's say you go to trending and you think it's quite interesting that, you know, let's say, I don't know, wearing mask, right? Wearing mask is a thing, right? And you say, oh, well, Trump says you shouldn't wear a mask, or you should wear a mask, or whatever it is. So you follow it and you're like, okay, well, this is what people are talking about. Let me see what people are saying. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I just think it's good practice to just put a mask on. It just seems common sense. If it, at worst, it's not hurting nothing. If it ain't doing a whole lot, it probably ain't hurting nothing, right? So then you're just like in the middle. You really don't care, but you're just gonna do what you need to do. And you get on here and you're like, oh man, see, those liberals, they just want to wear a mask. They want to let the government take over. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to have, you know, getting rid of our freedoms. And you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, man, I never really thought about it like that. Like, I mean, I guess I shouldn't just have to wear a mask. I mean, I don't really have a problem putting one on, but I guess I shouldn't be mandated to wear a mask. You know, so then you'd be like, you know what, I like this guy's thought on this shit. You know, well, he seems interested. Let me kind of click over here and see what he's talking about. Right? And you follow that guy and it's like, all right, well, whatever. Then you jump on, you know, it's another conversation going on. And it's like abortion pops up and you're like, you know, man, if you really, really, truly care about the babies, then you probably shouldn't be getting no abortions, man. This shit is some fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? You need to be pro-life all the way. And then you're like, you know, I mean, he makes decent enough points. I mean, how can you say you really care about life, but then you just throw life out the window? I mean, I really don't care if you get an abortion. I think that's up to you if you do that. So I don't really make a big fuss about it. But I do kind of agree that if you're going to have any kind of solid stance, I mean, if you believe in life, then life matters. And you probably shouldn't be getting rid of life. You know, in fact, I came from the church and, you know, yeah, it talks about every ounce of blood is sacred. You know what I'm saying? In or out of the body. So, you know, I think I do kind of believe that. You keep doing that, and the next thing you know, you're going to go from, I was here on a position when I came into Twitter, to I'm here on a position, to now I'm kind of here on a position, to now I'm kind of here on a position. It's never going to be like this, right? You're not going to go from here to there, all right? If you're over here, you probably was already here when you jumped on Twitter, right? What ends up happening a lot of the times is a lot of people end up getting here, and then you find these conversations that revolve around this area, and you know, it starts pulling you a little further. It starts pulling you a little further. And in all actuality, your natural state is you probably don't really give that much of a fuck about any of this shit, really. You probably don't care about none of this. But the more time you spend interacting with people that are of this fold or all the way over here on this side, it starts to warp your thought process. You know, like for a great example is in the gaming world, it's almost impractical to think that you could be a conservative person, like vocally conservative, and be highly accepted in, we'll just say, in the FGC, right? I think it's pretty safe to say most of the FGC is vocally liberal, right? I don't think that there's anybody who could call themselves an avid Trump supporter, avid, any kind of right-leaning type of thought process. I don't think that they could lead with that and also get followed very heavily in the gaming world, right? But that's kind of how Twitter is set up. It's kind of set up to where you have pockets of pockets of pockets of pockets, right? The way I've always looked at Twitter is you got far-leaning people on this side, far-leaning people on that side, who have very super far varying opinions, and then people who come in the middle who slightly get pulled one way or the other based on their experiences and where they started in the beginning, right? If you're a moderately conservative, you're probably going to find yourself getting pulled to more conservative. You may never make it all the way to the wacky side, right? You might not ever be like, oh, the nonsensical shit over here. You might not ever become like a white supremacist or like some fascist ass person. Or you might not ever become like an Antifa member, some far off left person, anarchist. You're not going to become that unless you just was already prone to that. Or the other portion that I think is the most important, if you're inexperienced, which is where the problem really lies, right? The problem really lies in the inexperience of the youth coming onto these platforms and getting exposed to basically the same stuff you would get exposed to. Like, it ain't nothing for somebody to come in and put a fake birth date in. I don't even remember what the verification process was for Twitter, right? But there's nothing for somebody to come on, put a fake, I think we got a guy named Maxter, right? He's like 14 years old. Shout out to Maxter. He's a player here in Atlanta. He's like 14 years old, from what I understand. I never really met him, but I talked to him on Discord before. He's got a Twitter account. Now, I don't know what you do on Twitter at 14 years old. I was at 14 years old. We didn't even have cell phones. Only person that had a cell phone was Zachary Morris, okay? And that shit was a cancer agent, okay? He had one of the two people cell phones, a cell tower, portable cell tower he had with him, right? But nonetheless, you got a young guy like that, or girl. I actually don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I assume it's a guy. Jumping on Twitter. Now, he's probably following just, regular old gaming stuff. Probably on there for Tekken. Saw people said follow us on Tekken, probably jumped in Discord, for gaming. He's there for gaming, right? But nothing's stopping him from hearing the argument put forth by a person he follows who is a gamer that maybe he looks up to, maybe he respects, right? He likes their gameplay. He likes them for gaming. But this person jumps online and they're like, all right, well, I believe this, that, and the third. And if you ain't with this shit, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of trash. You're a horrible individual. You don't deserve to live. Now, that could be on any topic, right? It could be on any topic, either direction. Well, the person he looks up to, he's like, oh, shit, I never thought about that. Yeah, I mean, if he believes that, then, unless I have already been instilled with values by my parents who have brought me up to be able to be at 14 years old of some sound mind and not easily influenced, I'm going to start dragging my brain to that direction of thought, right? Now that I'm following this person there and he thinks like this, oh, this other person is talking and they're talking about stuff. Now I'm in a realm. I came here for games, right? I came here for photography. I came here for artwork. I came here for sports. And somehow I find myself over here on this political discussion. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm finding myself having to defend stuff that I didn't even really think too hard about, that I don't really have a whole lot of knowledge about, probably. I just know I heard some people say stuff. This junk got 1,000 retweets, 150,000 retweets. You know, wow, everybody must feel like this. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not alone. What you're not conceptualizing is it's 150,000 retweets. That's an amazing amount of retweets for anybody, right? For any subject. But 150,000 retweets is not even a tenth of the population of one city like Atlanta. Do you understand that? That's not even a tenth of the population of a single city like Atlanta in all of the world. This is not the majority of how people think. This is how the majority of people think that are in the same bubble of thought that you are in. Take for instance, right? We're going to look at some other stuff, right? The number of active users on Twitter. We're going to drop this in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get y'all thought up on this shit right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get y'all realizing what you're looking through right quick. Right? Let me give you the factoids. Let you look at it, right? Now, there are 330 million active users worldwide on Twitter. Worldwide. Now, you're hearing 330 million. You're like, Mike, that's all of the United States. We're talking worldwide, right? That's monthly users. 145 million daily users. Now, in the world, typically 145 million people are jumping onto Twitter using the Twitter fingers, right? Getting busy. But let's calculate again, right? We're talking about 145 million. Let's go back to the calculator. Right? Calculator operator, you know what I'm saying? Let's go back to the calculator. How to go to history? There we go. Let's pull that one up. We're going to turn that from 2.1 million, right? We can go from 2.1 million to 330 million people divided by 7.8 billion. All right, now you're looking at it, right? You're looking at it. You see what I see. What that say? 330 million. Oh, hold on. I'll put all my business out there now. Oh, that's some people on Among Us. Anyway, Discord. 330 million divided by 7.8 billion. What we get? Tell them what we got. 0.04 76923% of people. Bro, that's not even a half of 1%. You know what I'm saying? That's not even half of a single. That's not even half of a percent. Let me, it's not even half of a 0.1%. Do you understand that that junk is nothing? If every person, all people on Twitter agreed on one item, that still is nothing in comparison to the amount of people that could be against it. Look at that. Oh, my bad. You're right. Multiplying times 10, all right? Times 10. So we're looking at 4%. That's 96% of people that are not accounted for. That very well could have an opposing point of view. Appreciate that math. I forgot all about adding the multiplying by 100. Appreciate that, right? That's going to come in handy later on, because there are some other things that are misconceptions that are devised people arrive to because they don't understand. They don't think about perspectives. They don't zoom out, right? They don't zoom out of the situation. So here you have a situation We're only 4% of people in the whole globe are even active users, right? Then you look at the amount of people in America, because this is an American show, you know what I'm saying? We Americans. Shout out to the people overseas. 48.35 million people. And it says US accounts for just about 31 million monetizable daily active Twitter users, right? 31 million. Now, you know, and I know people got multiple accounts, right? I have multiple accounts. I got one for my business, one for my personal viewpoints and stuff, right? But let's just say every person had one account. 31 million. We got 300 million people in the United States. You're talking about somewhere around only 10% of people in the United States are on Twitter. 10%. A little over 10% because it's 31 million, let's say 300,000 people. But I looked up number of Americans that are above the age of 18, right? That's 209 million people. So if you were to say, well, Mike, it's 300 million people, but some of those are kids. Okay. You got it, you know. But if you look here, you know what I'm saying, and I'm going to drop it in the chat, you know, so y'all know I'm just making up shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I ain't out here just making shit up. I want y'all to be able to follow along, right? 209 million people are considered adults. If every person was an adult that was on Twitter, you're still talking about 31 million daily users. If everybody was a single account, you're still only talking about maybe 15%. Maybe we'll give you 20%. Let's just do the math, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to just throw numbers out. Let's do the math, because that's why we got a calculator, bro. That's what we're doing here. All right? This is why you get the perspectives you get, because you make assumptions, right? We're not going to be doing no assumptions right here. Bro, I'm trying to get back to the damn... You mean I can't enter more digits than... I'm not trying to enter more digits than that. I'm trying to pull this damn... There we go. Pull the calculation up. Right, so it's 209 million. 209 million. 128. So let me get this junk clear. 128. Delete that. 94. You know what I'm saying? For the 94 people that's in here watching right now, y'all are special. Okay, we're gonna put y'all at the tail end. Alright, now listen. This is what you got right here, right? We're looking at it. Trying to get the glare off, my bad. There we go. Y'all can kind of see that thing. All right, we're going to hit equals. Then we're going to multiply, right? Now we're going to multiply this. Oh, my bad. I did that all wrong. My bad. I'm doing that by the world population. I was about to fuck us up. Let me go back. Let me put that right there. The U.S. population. And then we're going to divide that by 31. No, my bad. We're going to do 31 million. 31,000,000. Okay, 31 million. We're going to divide that by 209,128,094 people in the chat, okay? Tell us what we got, Johnny. You're talking about 0.14 times 10. Times 100. What we got? Somebody let me know. What's that? Move the decimal point how many times? 2 times. Okay. Bop. You're only talking about 14% of America is on. If every single person was a daily user of Twitter, and every single Twitter account was one person, you're talking about 14% of America is on Twitter. if I'll even give you 15%, bro. 15%. Do you understand how influential Twitter is? To only have maximum, the maximum is 48 million. Was, if we go back to that other statistic, 48.35 million is monthly Twitter users, right? But we're gonna go with daily active users, right? 31 million people. Even if you round up and make it 15% of people on Twitter, I want you to think about the amount of people that have. I mean, let's just look it up. I'm about to type this in. I don't even know what this number is. I'm gonna just pull it out my ass and figure out what it is. What is the number of people that have? Let me see. The number of people that have, I don't know, peed the bed in their life. All right, let's just type that. Number of Americans. Number of people. Let me just put people. Oh no, let's go with Americans. Number of Americans that wet the bed. Past, I don't know, 11 years old, 10 years old. Is it normal to wet the bed at 15? Let's see. Let me see if I can find a statistic on this, right? What are statistics causes? Let's see what we can find. Dealing with a bedwetter when all else fails. Hey man, y'all give me some fucking stats, man. I'm trying to run a stream here. Alright. Alright, so it says bedwetting. 5 to 7 million children in the US don't always. Let me give you this, because I don't want y'all to think I'm just then type something up and just made the shit up, right? Just made the shit up. Alright. Bedwetting, nocturnal uresis, enuresis or something like that. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. I'm not gonna press the button. But 5 to 7 million children in the United States don't always make it through the night without having an accident. This may come as a relief if you have a child who is soaking his sheets even though he's totally dry during the day. In fact, the average child can't stay dry through an entire night until he's 4 or 5 years old. After that, though, most kids outgrow bedwetting. While 15% of 5-year-olds wet the bed, only 3% of boys and 2% of girls will still be wetting the bed by age 10, right? So, there's a lot of y'all niggas was out there pissy, alright? Just as many people that was on Twitter, just as many people that's on Twitter in America is out here peeing the bed by ratio numbers, okay? Y'all out here bed pissing it up, okay? Y'all out here with the soaky sheets, not telling nobody. Alright, was over here peeing all on your brother's stuff, peeing all on your little sister's shit, over here slanging and dangling, got your mama in there washing the sheets 2 and 3, 4, 5 times a week, cause y'all can't even go to the bathroom at night, right? But y'all wanna all act like y'all don't know nobody that was peeing a bed like that, right? Now here's the thing, bro. Whoa. This when you start getting into these statistics, cause this shit here is, we're not going all the way down the rabbit hole, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it did say that beyond that, so you're looking at like 5%. So you're looking somewhere around the range comparably, you know what I'm saying? Comparably, you're looking at 5%. A third of the people that are on Twitter was peeing the bed. You know, now this is not realistic because, you know, obviously there are other factors, but by numeric standards, in America, if we're going to give them 15% of the population, a third of the motherfuckers was peeing the bed past age 10. Now, you're saying to yourself, Mike, that sounds ridiculous. I don't know a whole bunch of people that was just peeing the bed past age 10. Well, you know why? Because there's far more than 31 million people in America. All right. So when you get on something like Twitter and you're having these debates and you're like, man, this person's an asshole. They're an idiot. They believe this? They're stupid. How could they possibly believe this shit? Everybody I know disagrees with this. Well, think about who you're following. Here's my personal thing, what I do when I get on Twitter, right? I actively try to follow people that I disagree with. I actively try to follow things that, maybe not all the time, but I'm going to find the most reasonable version of their argument. That person, I'm following them, right? If y'all have ever followed my Twitter, y'all know that I'm on there arguing with people all the time, right? I like to debate, not really argue. I want to debate. I want to get down to a solution or find some answers, right? I try to do that as civil as possible. One of the things is I always look to find okay, who has a varying opinion from mine? Because I can definitely curate myself to only hear people who think like I do. But there's always a truth, a subjective truth, and seemingly objective truth, right? Now you're saying to yourself, what's seemingly objective? Things that are seemingly objective mean we agree upon the objective nature at which the truth is had, but it does not even necessarily mean that's the truth. Now that will sound like a whole bunch of hogwash, a lot of bullshit, but I'll give you a great example, right? The objective truth normally is backed by scientific, either by scientific method or by some statistical data, right? But the problem is things can be seen or perceived to be objective truths only until you look deeper into what those stats are. What was the measurement that they came up with to get those stats? Prime example, you always hear it, right? You always hear this. Black people are criminals, right? Black people they commit 90% of the violent crimes or some high ass number of crimes, right? Okay. Let's give people that, right? Let's just give people that one. By the statistics, that may be the case, right? There's a lot of factors that go into crime, but let's just give them the best version of their argument. The number of black people that exist in America, 41.4 million. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Copy. And we're going to paste. All right, we're going to copy and paste that. Y'all can check that out. Check it out. 41.4 million people. Now, I want to go over here to this other site, Statistica, or something. Statista, that's what it is. Statista.com. Right? We're going to look at the number of committed crimes in the United States as of 2019 by type of crime. Right? Let's hit y'all with this one. Y'all can go back and forth. Y'all can follow along if you need to. Oh shit, I ain't do the right thing. Hold on. Copy. Did I do the right thing? I did. Okay. Bam. Alright, follow along now. Follow along. You check this out. We're going to look at the number of total crimes committed in the United States. The top of the list is property crime at 6.2 6.9 million, right? So we're gonna do a lot of rounding here, right? A lot of rounding. We're gonna give them the best version of the argument. So we're gonna round everything up, not down. We're gonna say 6.9. We're gonna give that 7 million, right? So we're just gonna represent that by 7. Larceny and theft, 5. We're gonna call that 5 million, right? 5.8 million. I mean 5.08. We can call that 5.1. We'll just call it 5.1. All right, 5.1. So 7 plus 5.1 plus violent crime. Only 1,200,000. What's going on with you, Joe? Only 1,200,000 people committed violent crimes overall. That was the number of violent crimes. That's not even the amount of people that committed it. That is the number of crimes that were violent. 1.2. We're going to go with 1.2. Now we're going to add in burglary at 1.1. Now we're going to add in aggravated assault. Not even 1,800,000. So 0.8. We're going to also add in motor vehicle theft at 0.7. We're going to add in robberies, which is 0.2. We're going to add in rape, revised definition. Now, I want you to understand what that means, right? Rape, revised definition. That does not mean the amount of people that got knocked out, drugged into the back alley, and drilled, okay? That does not mean the amount of people who got knocked over the dome, pulled in a back alley, drugged, fucked beyond their control, all right? We're not talking about those people. We're talking about revised definition, which means I was drinking, you was drinking, we had sex, I raped you. Makes no sense to me, but it makes plenty of sense to enough people that they changed the law. Well, they changed the definition to fit whatever it is, right? Then that is only 0.1, right? 0.1. Then we have rape by the legacy definition, which is 0.009, right? But we're going to round up and call that 0.1 because we trying to give you the best version of your argument. Okay, then murder and non-negligent manslaughter, basically killing you on purpose. This is 0.01. 0.01. Obviously, the lowest of all of them. That rounds up to 16 million, right? We got it short right here, but that rounds us up to 310,000 roughly crimes that were committed in 2019. Now, y'all, let's go back. Y'all remember, y'all go up 1 or 2 links ahead. The number of black Americans, right? The number of black Americans to exist is 41 million. 41 million. So if your argument, the best argument you could come up with was black people commit all the crimes, right? Well, they commit the majority of the crimes, therefore black people are criminals. Well, that's not even 50% of the black people that exist. Even by the most ridiculous and generous version of that argument, that ain't even 50% of all the black people that exist. If black people committed every single crime that happened, every single crime, all of them, not half of them, all of them, everyone. But this is what'll happen. This is where I say there are things that are the truth, a subjective truth, and a seemingly objective truth. All right. What we just got down to was the truth, right? The truth of the matter is, there's no, even if black people committed every single crime recorded and reported, overwhelmingly, the majority of black people would not be criminals, would not be people that you should be in fear of committing a crime. Even if they committed every single crime. But when you get into a place like Twitter, you get into Facebook, you go online, you get into a bubble, this is the importance of seeking information outside of the scope of your own thoughts. When you don't let certain information in, you will be just as bad as that person, right? Obviously, depending on where you are and what scene you in, various things might be acceptable for you to talk about that may not be acceptable for other groups to have you talk about. Case in point, abortion. I mean, it's very difficult for you to go on Twitter and jump into the FGC and argue against abortion. It would be very difficult for you to do that. Why? Because something like FGC is something that is very liberal, right? It's just a very liberal leaning spot, especially in the Twitter sphere. Now, in the real world, that may not even exist. That may not even be the case. But when you get onto these small platforms that are seemingly large, it starts to shift the dynamic in which you may think. It is part of the reason why we have such a divided, seemingly divided community, right? When they say the country is divided, you know what they really mean? The online communities are divided. Because in the real world, let's go back to the example of Tekken, right? For all of us that play Tekken that are on Twitter, that when every time you look around, it looks like there's some new fighting game news out. It looks like there's a brand new fighter coming out all the time. It looks like people are jumping in. There's a tournament all the time. It looks like everybody's just playing Tekken and playing fighting games. I worked in a building downtown here in Atlanta, America's Mart. And I was like, it's like a 22-story building. I thought about it. In a 22-story building, I may have been one of maybe 5 or less, one of 5 or less people that have actually been in a fighting game tournament. Let that sit with you right quick. In the mecca of Tekken, I'm sitting in a building with 22 floors where I might very well be the only person to have ever been to a Tekken tournament and participated. That could happen if after this goes down, we could definitely do that. I'll tear his ass up. But besides that, listen. That is how reality actually works. The things that happen online, I know it's hard to swallow the idea that the community that you love, all the people that you know, that you've met through social media, all the various groups and time you done spent with these people, the connections you've made, that your bubble of thought and people who agree with you or even share your interest is so insignificant. It's so insignificant when it comes to the real world. And what the majority of the world has to think. You might be in line with the majority. Don't get me wrong. There is a topic that you may feel a certain way about, and the majority of people may feel that same way. But the actuality of it is this. That shit really don't matter, right? You got to get outside of your bubble, because it can turn you into a human being that actually becomes a hindrance, really. You know, you may never hear this, or you may have heard it a lot. You need to get out of your town, right? I know people that may have only been outside of Atlanta once or twice in their life. They're 30, 40, 50 years old. Been outside of the state of Georgia once in their life. Maybe never been outside the state of Georgia in their life. Imagine that's all you're doing. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, you following this social media shit, right? If you're not broadening and allowing for different versions of ideas, like the way, this is how you really know it's really fucked up. When you get on Twitter and you try to debate something even slightly adjacent to the idea that you and the circle believes in, you could get ostracized, right? You could get ostracized. Very simple, right? I'll give you a great example of this, right? I can give you a great example of this. It's how the sisterhood works, right? Now, if y'all don't know about the sisterhood, that's really like a black thing with black women, right? But the sisterhood is one of the greatest examples of this, right? Especially online. You realize there is a group of black women, and you may not even know this because you might not even be anywhere near this sector of Twitter, which goes back to the point I'm talking about. But there's a sector of Twitter of black women who, for lack of a better term, they're just not very virtuous, right? They are kind of a mixture of overly indulgent in feminism, highly misandrist. For y'all, who even knows what misandry is? Do y'all even know what that is? I think that a lot of people don't even know what that term means, but which is funny because we definitely know what misogyny is. But nonetheless, it's a misandrous group, especially towards black males, right? But depending on how you're curated and what you follow in the groups you're in, you may have never seen this shit. Like you might be over there in the right wing business corporate division, right? You might be in that division of Twitter. You don't even know this shit exists, right? But it's like, okay, there is this pocket, and if you go into this pocket, because your brain's not right, I don't particularly think people are developed as a society enough. I don't think the human's brain is capable of really dealing with the internet as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean, people who don't have that in their life all the time, they can deal with it, they can dilly and dally with it, but you can't be on the internet consistently and have your own regular views. Like, it's just, it warps your brain too much, right? These people in that particular group I'm talking about, right? If you get into that situation, you get an argument with them, you'll see 20, 30, 40, 100 comments where seemingly these black women are bashing these black men. Or conversely, right? These black men seem to be bashing black women. That's why I'm going to get a white dude. That's why I'm going to get me a white girl. Black shit ain't shit. Black niggas ain't shit, right? And you see that rhetoric going back and forth, and you like, damn, our people are really fucked up out here, dog. Like, they are fucked up out here, dog. I mean, shit. Black women, is there any black women that like black men? Now, something that grows with the sisterhood, and this is just in or out of the Twitter sphere, but let's just say we're talking about the Twitter sphere. A black woman shows up and she says, listen, not all black men are fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You just choosing fucked up men to be with. You choosing nothing but the fucked up versions of men to be with. And so there is your problem. Oh, she gonna get flamed. She gonna get flamed. She gonna get flamed by the sisterhood, gonna flame the hell out of her ass. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the niggas who are simps, who is trying to be on the, hey man, the women are right, gotta believe them. They gonna be like, no, these niggas just ain't shit. You just trying to, you a pick me ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? You a pick me ass hoe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hold up. So you got the simps out there backing them up. You got the sisterhood backing them up. You know what I'm saying? Here you got this lady who's trying to stick up for black men. She's a black lady trying to stick up for black men. She's getting bombarded, ramrodded, destroyed, catching the backhands, right? And it's like, damn. Now, because that happened to her, you know what's going to happen? Most black women ain't going to want to step up. Even though the majority of black women might not even think like this whatsoever. The majority of black people are with black people, okay? That's just how it is. Majority of black men are with black women. Majority of black women are with black men, right? That's how it's working out here in the real world. But in the Twitter sphere, boy, you better not even be two black people being happy online. That shit might get you flamed. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might get flamed. If the nigga's goddamn too pretty, they gonna call him gay. You know what I'm saying? If she too dark, they're gonna call her look like a man. You know what I'm saying? Something is going to go down, alright? You know what I'm saying? Something is going to go down. But here's the thing. It's like, alright, your brain ain't ready to register all of that shit, right? You can't, if you're not already a person, like by the time I got on social media, I was 30 something years old, right? The person I am, my mindset was already set before I got on social media. So when I go on social media, I'm not really affected too much because it's like, well, I'm already stuck in my ways. So the shit y'all talking about, if it sounds stupid to me, I'm gonna just tell you the shit sounds stupid. I'm gonna give my perspective. I'm gonna listen to yours, and we're gonna call that shit a quit. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna agree or disagree, one or the other. But most people, like I spoke about earlier, they're these young, impressionable minds. You know, people who are 20, 21 years old. You know, like I said, we got young OG Maxter. You know what I'm saying? He's 14 years old on Twitter. I don't even know if they allow you to be on there at 14 years old. But it's like, okay, that person gets thrown into this conversation. And let's say he's a young black guy and he sees black guys constantly roasting these black chicks. But they're talking about a specific type of black chick. You know, then he grows up with a little bit of disdain for black chicks, right? He don't even have no experience with no black chicks. Ain't even got his little pecker wet yet. You know what I'm saying? He only get his junk wet in the tub. But here he is. You know what I'm saying? Here he is. Hating black women, right? Or there's some chick out there, you know, 18, 16 years old. She out here listening to the WAP. You know what I'm saying? And everybody talking about, I got the WAP this, I got the WAP that. Girl, it ain't nothing. You gotta have that WAP. You don't need to clean nor mop if you got that WAP. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa. So the young girl, what happened? Impressionable mind. She get on Twitter and she like, damn, yeah, I guess I see all these women talking about they don't need to goddamn please. They don't need to please a man. They don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? It's all about me. It's strong, independent. And it's like, all right, well, that's all fine and dandy, except for there's nobody combating it. The amount of women that combat the shit, that they know is some bullshit, that if you talk to them, they don't agree with the shit. But what they ain't gonna do is stand up and talk about the shit. Why? Because the backlash is going to be sturdy. But you take all of these things we're talking about, the whole culmination of what we're talking about, right? and you zoom back out, what was that number we came up with? Just in America, the number of people was what? 14% of America is on Twitter. Let's say half and half agree on a subject. Let's say it's not even half and half, but of that half and half are male, half are women. And out of the half of that breaks us back down to a little bit more. Then let's say out of the half, we've got half of the women agree and half of the women don't agree. Then out of the half of that half, we got only women in this region agree, and these women in this region don't agree with these women in this region that don't agree with this group of women that don't agree with women that don't agree with men, that is only 15% of the population collectively. You're talking about very small numbers of people who believe this stuff that you believe in the way that you believe it. You know what I'm saying? That is ridiculous. To your point, Hunger Force, yes, 79% is on social media, but social media is a lot of stuff. YouTube is social media. Vivo is social media. LinkedIn is social media. Those aren't particularly, well, YouTube is a whole nother clusterfuck, you know. Facebook is social media. But what that is not accounting for is, and this is why I went with the daily users number, because while there are 48 million people that use it monthly, that's really only 48 million accounts, right? 48 million accounts that are used monthly. Of the 48 million accounts, only 31 million of them are used daily. But that's accounts. That's not individual people, right? That's for Twitter by itself. I mean, by the way, they probably calculated, yeah, almost everybody has Facebook. I don't have that shit. I never had Facebook, right? But when you get to like daily usage and interactions, everybody's not using that degree of intimate interlockings with social media, right? As owning a company, I have to be on social media. I have to promote. I have to be out there. I gotta retweet certain shit so people pay attention to me. I have to go out there, like, even if I want to genuinely support somebody, if I'm running a business is business, right? I got to do what I have to do in order to make my business be splattered on the map as much as possible, right? When it comes to my personal accounts, you know, if I want to be in there, I want to argue with this person and that person, if we're having debates here and there, you know, if I just want to put shit up about, hey, I just bought a dog, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I got these fire-ass Tekken House hat, which y'all can pick you up right here. In fact, don't even let me be a person to make you not feel like you understand where you can get one of these things. So let me go and hit y'all with this right quick. Alright, no. You know what I'm saying? I had to shield right quick. You know what I'm saying? So you can go pick you up one of these hats over there at tknhouseent.com. But listen, now that we back, I just want y'all to really think about how, like, if you're in an argument with somebody, or you see stats thrown around, or if you're just, you find yourself leaning very heavily towards an ideology, a belief about something, I don't want to say that you're going to be wrong, because you might not even be wrong. What I like to do for myself personally, and I encourage other people to do, and which is what this podcast is about, and we definitely will be doing a few more of these based upon perspectives. This is just kind of like a general overview, which I actually went into way more detail than I thought I was going to be going into. I want people to take this thing into consideration, and not necessarily question your beliefs, because I think you should have resolve in your beliefs. I think that you should also always make room for at least hearing the other side, right? Because while they still might be talking about some bullshit and might be completely wrong, 100% wrong, at the end of the day, normally, if you have a stance that is based in objective truths and relative facts, right? And I say relative facts because much like seemingly objective truths, facts are facts until they're not facts, right? That's just what it is, right? The world was flat until we figured out that the shit wasn't flat. Then it no longer was a fact that the world was flat, right? So, kind of in that same vein of thought process, I feel like when you're out there, you're going gung-ho about something, you need to at least be able to hear the other side of whatever it is, right? Whether it's, the rich versus the poor, whether it's, king versus armor king, you need to be able to hear every side and get all of the objective truths, right? Not the seemingly objectives, but the objective truths that you can. The relative facts at the time, and measure that and make the most sound decision from that by how you want to go, right? This doesn't work with everything. Obviously, there are things like religion that have things that are not provable or disprovable. So that's why they have faith and belief. But faith and beliefs are things that are an internal feeling that you just have to believe in that shit. Like, you just got to believe in it regardless of what is put in front of you, right? But when it comes to things that are factual, that can be proven, you no longer get to go with a belief and be right? I'll give you a very clear version of this and we'll wrap this up. I think my girlfriend is cheating on me. I believe my girlfriend is cheating on me. My girlfriend been coming home from work late. She's been going to work a little early. She's been working various shifts, strange shifts that she don't normally work. I think she's cheating on me. I really believe she's cheating on me. I feel in my heart of hearts with everything I know that she's cheating on me. Based upon the statements that I just made, is my girlfriend cheating on me? Who can determine that? There is no objective fact to state that she's cheating on me. There's nothing determining that she's cheating on me. Nothing but my feelings about a matter. The same thing applies in a lot of those situations, especially in these online worlds, you know, these social media platforms. You have a lot of people who believe a lot of things that don't even have any accurate information to back up what they believe. And you have some people who have seemingly objective factoids, right? Seemingly objective truths to back up their beliefs until you look into the truths. And you're like, okay, well, actually, I went to my girl's job randomly, and it was at a random time, and she was at work. I swiped my girl's schedule and looked through her phone and found out her work schedule really was fucked up. I put a camera in the house and I went away for a week to see if she brought somebody to the crib, and she actually was at the house 24/7. Nobody was here but her and Praline. That's when you go from having a belief about something. That's when you go from having seemingly objective truths about something to having actual relative facts. Now, once again, relative facts are relative facts, right? She still could be cheating on me. She just might have done it in a way that I had not been able to detect. I was wrong about everything that I assumed. And the actual fact of the matter is, she over there with Average Video Game Joe texting his ass up all night long. You know what I'm saying? Sending them kitty pictures. And I ain't talking about Praline or Fat Mama, but she might be showing them Fat Mama. You know what I'm saying? So it's just what it is, right? At the end of the day, don't be going off, don't get carried away. I mean, you're going to believe what you're going to believe. I ain't going to say you don't need to have no resolve, but there are a lot of tricks that people play, right? They play a lot of word salad games with you. They hit you with stuff like, oh, not voting is not an option. You know, it's like, okay, no, voting is an option. You can't give me two trash ass options. You know, it's like, okay, you gonna eat some shit or you gonna drink some piss. But I have the option to not drink either. I have the option of not consuming either one. That is an option I have. Well, it's not really an option, because if you don't drink the shit and you don't get it's going to exist anyway. One of them is going to exist anyway. And it's like, okay, well, I don't have to be a part of that shit. You know, only argument you get to make is I don't really get to complain, but I do get to complain because you handed me shit. I told you I was hungry and thirsty, and you handed me shit and piss and told me to make do. No, I'm a starve, okay? I'm not eating shit, all right? I'm not drinking piss. It ain't got to them kind of situations yet, right? And that's just what it is, you know? It's kind of like people put narratives out there. They want to guilt you into various things. It could be you should take care of single moms' kids because stepfathers are needed. Think about the kids. You know, there are things in there that are like, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't get married because getting married is the simp way, and only a simp would get married and devote his life to one woman. You can get all these women all the time. Like, there are going to be things out there that I guess you might call them shaming languages. A lot of the times, you need to take that information in, process it, dig deeper, and make your decision based off of the relative facts, right? That's my spiel for today. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself. Appreciate y'all coming out here. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to be back maybe in about an hour. I might play a little bit of Tekken. I know that's what y'all really want to see. That's why y'all came in here. I'll probably have a different shirt on. You know, shout out to Secret Garden. Shout out my boy Pleasant Man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Abstract. They was putting that thing on. Shout out to Tekken House, obviously. Why would I not shout them out? They're one of the best. Shout out to my boy Joe. All right, got the Legends Cup coming up soon. Hey Joe, make sure you send me some information I can put up here on the stream so people can see it. And you know, it's been rather real. You know what I'm saying? Realm of the real, only the real can chill. Appreciate y'all coming out here. Make sure y'all check back. If you haven't already, go to the website, right? It's not just for selling shit. You can go in there. If y'all was here at the beginning, y'all heard a podcast, an interview being done. Well, that was, of course, that was your boy MIC. But if you go to the fighter bios, you go to the fighter select, click on the player that you want to learn about. You can click on them. They got their own individual podcast, so you can listen to it while you're at work. You want to get to know about the Khalil, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the realm of the real. Only the real can chill. You want to go to the website. It's tknhouseent.com. Listen to all your various Atlanta players that we have. We will be doing DLC packets. There's no login sign up required right now. We probably will do it because we want to do some extra special stuff. Also, if y'all are looking to learn how to go from good to great, we have what is known as the TTU, all right? Tech and Tech University. We'll be jumping off, I think, in about 2 weeks. We're only going to do the first 10 people to sign up. We'll get to go in. Right now, I think we got a couple sign-ups. So it's limited space, right? Course is $80 for 8 classes, an 8-week course. We'll have homework. You will have written assignments, tests. You'll have group projects. It will be like a college course. So go sign up for that. You can buy it if you're only interested in a particular class. Let's say we got a class on movement. We've got a class on I think it's movement, defense, and offense. Let's say you want to take just that class. You want to get your offense better. You want to know how to defend better, right? You could just buy that class. Those classes are $20 a class. Or you can buy what we call the semester or the term, where you get 4 classes, or you get the amount of classes that are in the term that you buy. So there are various packages. You don't have to go all in if you don't think you can do it. 8 weeks straight. We do like 2-hour classes. It's going to be all online classes, so you can do it from the comfort of your home. If you live in New York, you live in California, as long as you're available when we're doing the classes, perfect. We will get you in there. Make you good to great in 8. All right. So y'all get that out there. Make sure y'all pass that around. Y'all know somebody want to go from good to great. Now you can't be sorry, right? You can't not know how to press the buttons. You can't know what frames are, right? This is the college course. This is not no elementary school. All right. So if you ain't graduated tech in high school, if you ain't came from tech in high, don't come to TTU. We're not going to accept you. We'll kick your ass out of there. And you can fail this course. So I'm just letting you know that right off the rip. All right. It's not likely if you do everything you're supposed to do. You're not likely to fail it, but you can fail it. All right. Not pay to win. Okay. No pay to graduate around this motherfucker. But nonetheless, much appreciation to y'all. Hope you enjoyed yourself thus far. See y'all in a little bit, man. You know what it is. Realm of the real. Only the real can chill. We are out. Peace.